was praying to God this morning and the topic of forgiveness came up. How do you know that you've truly forgiven someone? A friend of mine, Ndoto, broke it down for me in a beautiful way. And she mentioned that there's forgiveness, there is healing, and there's reconciliation. Unfortunately, we tend to get the three mixed up, but in reality, they are not the same. Forgiveness, biblically speaking, means to pardon someone of whatever it is that they did to you. You forgive them, you let it go without requiring any kind of payback, revenge, vengeance. You pardon them and you let it go. But that's different to healing, because in as much as you can forgive someone, there's the wound that still needs to be healed. And depending on the gravity of the situation, depending on the extent of what happened, healing can happen either instantly, maybe it can take a couple of months, or it can take years. This involves your personal recovery, and there's no specific timeline for that. And then there's reconciliation. Reconciliation involves the rebuilding of trust and restoring the relationship with that person who's hurt you. And as people, it's not always possible. In fact, we can't always afford to reconcile with, quote unquote, the offender or the person who has harmed you, especially if that person still poses a threat to you and your loved ones, perhaps your children. So I hate using examples like this, but if somebody abused you as a young child and they still are continuing doing this, it's not possible for you to reconcile with that person because they still pose a threat to you, especially now if you have children. But it is required for us to pardon them and let them go. But the healing, on the other hand, that is a different story. How do you know that you've truly healed? Well, you can have a moment where the previous night you prayed to God and you asked him, God, can you please help me forgive this person? And you really have that moment where you think, yeah, man, I've forgiven them. And the next day you see the person at Pick and Pay and you literally want to, then you know that you still have not healed. You may have forgiven them, but you still have that wound that still needs to be healed. And what she taught me is that pray to God and ask him to help you forgive them. If you have to do it 7 times, do it. If you have to do it 77 times, do it. I know it's not easy, but this is where Jesus comes in. So even if it means that you have to ask him 100 times, go ahead and do it. But then there's also the other side where it comes to the healing of your wound. Pray to God and ask him to heal your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, and to restore you. God is an expert when it comes to restoration. So you will be in good hands. It might take some time, but it is possible. And when it comes to reconciliation, pray to God and ask for discernment. Find out from him. Should I reconcile with this person? What does the Bible say? And how do I go about this? And that's exactly what I learned about forgiveness and understanding it properly. I'm not an expert. I still have a lot of learning to do about this, but what they have shared with me has really, really been so helpful in navigating that process. And I hope that it was helpful to you too. Yeah, and those are my Monday thoughts. Good morning and happy Monday.